Hello everyone. We finally made it, TW20. We are going to start on this today. But yeah, don't know if I said it or not, but welcome to Farm 26 and yeah, TW. I like to know what I've got in there for. Yeah, TW. So, this is going to be a little more than some of you kind of think it is. I'll tell you right now, what the smart thing to do, if you're just doing an engine, split this front end off, get it out of the way, leave your radiator up. You need a splitting stand to do that, and I do have one. However, this radiator needs to be changed, and this front end has some bushings under it. I haven't decided exactly which way to go on that yet, if I should just wheel it ahead or not. But in between now and then, what I can do is get ready for it. AC, it's got to get bent out of the way. We got these two red lines are actually hydraulic lines. They need to be removed. Oil coolant needs to be dropped. Just trying to think things out loud. Either way I go, the air intake tube should come off. Muffler should probably come off before I get too carried away. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is put you in go fast mode and kind of tote you around as I'm doing things. But it'll be all, maybe not all in sequence of what I said, but it'll all be about that. So I just thought I'd let you kind of see some of the issue I've been having. This AC here, not a big deal. Cord didn't come out too bad, except for, and I knew about it, this little flipper right here. I always thought it was just I thought it was less, I didn't think it had this little edge on there. And I kept running into him. We'll get him straightened, or once I had that figured out, it wasn't a big deal. Did have to pull the tire. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but pulled the tire and put it on. that little bit I was messing around right here is really special way of putting lights in. We're gonna address that a little bit. I am gonna stick with them little, them two little lights. It's surprising how bright they actually are. I still haven't decided what I'm gonna do with this front end. I do have a splitting stand, and you know what? It's gonna be just fine if I put them on. What I don't know is if it's easier to mess with this bolster on the tractor or off. It's not a huge deal either way. It's a lot of handwork because you drop your axle. I mean, you got the same on the other side, but it's just them. And you're, if you want to leave this on, it isn't such a big deal neither because it's, well, there's a couple bolts up under by my finger, and then it's just these. But I do have to go in and replace that bushing. I mean, he's, if he's not into the cast, he's right there. I got my suspicions that he is into the cast already. I'm not 100% on that, but we're gonna do both bushings there. I do have to go into this axle. I always thought, so this is always wet, but it was never pooling more than I thought, and I kept checking my levels on my hub, and it was never going down, but it was always wet. Well, it's actually the seal on your shaft here, your drive shaft, going through your axle tube. Yeah, we're gonna have to go into him. But just a word to the wise, now is the time to be writing stuff like that down, because we're doing this all to get into this guy. And when you're ordering parts, you might as well order parts for everything. And with that, on to whatever's next. And I'm still not, well, I tell you what's next. I'm going to get that AC all the way off. We'll get him curled away, sitting underneath the axle, out of the way, in good situ. All right, so I thought I'd bring it to this guy. Now these little bit here, all they are is to keep your fan belt on, so we'll have to take him off. We'll put them back on. And then you've got, I think it's three, one here, here, and here to get your compressor off. We are going to take the mount off too, and I can't remember, I know there's this one here. Boy, he's loose. And I think there's a couple more that go into your block and possibly even head. But yeah, we'll get you in what we can. Coolant is still dripping out, so we're gonna let him keep dripping out. And yeah, carry on. So I'm sure you guys saw me disappear to this side, and what I did is I just pulled back the wire harness and flipped it over the fender. All but the battery was disconnected other than the air filter sensor. And yeah, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense to me to set my splitting stands up and roll this forward. I can always go into that later down the road, but really right now the only thing that's holding them on is a few bolts here. Can't remember if there's one in the center. Yeah, there is. There's one in the center going to your oil pan and your upper and lower radiator hose. power steering lines, and he's free. So I think what I'm going to do is start knocking power steering lines off. This means nothing. And once they're off, I'll probably move you guys to the other side and start setting up. Oh no, I got drive shaft. I got to get drive shaft out of the way. Well, I'll work on this side, set you up on the other side, and we'll knock this front end off. Well, now that makes me feel foolish. I should have counted my nuts. I was fighting that for nothing. I forgot a bolt. I'm just glad that I didn't go too dang hog wild and really start hammering on something. I was getting close. I was getting real close. Getting a little mean with it, but didn't have to. Got the creeper out, got under there and took like a couple whacks, and guess what? They weren't real hard whacks even. I really looked at it, I said, that's a nut sitting there. What's he doing? Sure enough, as I'd loosen, it'd start flopping. Such is life. Well, I just got to thinking here, and you guys are perched really close to a cab mount, and I didn't notice this earlier, but someone got in there not so square with an Allen wrench. Guessing what they did is put a metric on a standard or a standard on a metric. Either way, there are some points where the points shouldn't be. So I'm guessing this rear end's been apart before. And that doesn't really surprise me. When they come to these TW series, they really hadn't changed the rear end a lot. You'd be surprised how close this is to an 8,000 or 9,000. Well, let's say 9,000 because this thing's got a turbo. But with that came, you know, the only design for so many horse, and yeah, there were some of these rear ends that ate up right away. Well, I shouldn't say ate up, but had issues right away. But if that's the fault, that's the fault. There you go. Now we can't lose our bolts. I did notice there's an arrow on one of the two. Yeah, right here. Right here there's an arrow. Wonder if that's an alignment arrow. Huh. Well, we'll find out going together. All right, so it's really held together with the bottom bolster bolts. And I tried the one on this side, and it's tightly loose. I can move it, but it's snug tight. We've got everything disconnected here. Our hose, our top hose. There's really no reason why we can't walk this front end off. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did start taking some of the lines off and whatnot. Just gives the guy more room when it comes to getting into there. The other side there, yeah, that's pretty well stripped down. I mean, it's got more to go, but so I don't have my sparker for my torch. I'm gonna have to heat him and see if I can get him to loosen. Right there, here's one. So if you are a mechanic and you got a good way to get, he's stuck. And just about every one that has been stuck, I've had to, and I really don't want to do that because, yeah, I'm looking at OEM gauges then, or an OEM gauge. And yeah, if anyone's got a real good on that, I don't know why people horse them down way too tight. And yeah, you got the whole corrosion thing besides, but this side's really down to turbo and your oil cooler line, and your filter base, manifold, you know. Yeah, we took all the power steering off. Should be ready to roll forward with it. Well, with that, I'm gonna probably start setting up a splitting stand. There. I don't know, does that look a little funny? I mean, yep, she's coming apart. I did screw up though. I didn't realize how much heavier this mechanical front is. Normally you take the weight on those two yellow ones and that red one up front. Then you just give that a couple turns and you're golden. I was probably a 1/4 inch off when it, I'm not going to say sprung, but when the weight come off. So, well, this is kind of the workspace we'll be working with for a while. And I'm not afraid of that there. That's had a lot bigger, actually that splitting stand there has had, oh, what's the big John Deere 4-wheel drive that's older? 86, 30 or 40? Yeah, that's had everything but the front axle on just them. I mean, that's a lot stronger than you think they are. This little TW is nothing compared to that. But anyways, we'll probably start taking that apart now. Well, we've got usual suspects. Stuck. These did come out. I was pretty surprised. And someone might say, well, why are you even pulling that anyway? I don't know if I've got to smooth this or not. And I know pulling that turbo is a little ahead of the game as far as if I don't have to. But I'm going to set you up in just a second. Let's see, is it going to focus? Yep. I don't think it's supposed to do that. No, it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be a lot tighter. However, I don't see any real bad erosion or anything. Turbo actually looked all right. Muffler's still stuck to the up pipe. So far, this is the biggest, well, I shouldn't say surprise, but the biggest worry. Fuel pump come off all right. What else can I say? I'm trying to let you guys in on everything that I saw that you guys didn't. Yeah, we struggle with that back bolt that goes right here. It really don't matter the make on that. Yeah, we're pretty well capped up what we need to be. Hope you guys kind of enjoyed this one. This one should be a long time in coming. I know there's a lot of go fast in this, but yeah, to be honest with you, this is all pretty time consumptive, and I've been taking everything apart by hand just that way I know what I got. Oh yeah, gasket right there. So the one thing I have found, and I really hope it didn't get me, right here it is. That's the silicone. I really hope that it didn't get down and plug my oil system. We will find out. Yeah, it's amazing how cruddy this thing is, though, isn't it? You'd be surprised how many hours have been spent pressure washing it. Hours and hours. Yeah. Well, I know some of you, it's been a long time in coming, but we're here. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you next time. More to come. Have a great one. Thanks for watching.